I'm not really an animal portraitist. I'm much more of, well, I call it sporting art, but I'm very interested in getting things in the right situation that somebody who's been outside will recognize as the right situation. You know, I'm picking situations where I'm trying to carry the whole story in the gestures that I'm depicting in the initial sculptures. Art, sculpting, whatever you want to call it, it's about doing things with intent. It's about deciding that there's something you want to say about this thing that you want to get across to yourself. You want to explore yourself and get across to somebody else. You can't do that without knowing the name of it. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio in 1953. I spent a lot of time at both the Natural History Museum and the Cleveland Museum of Art, which on the weekends would have drawing classes and fossil identification classes, etc., for kids. When I was 14 years old, I met a man named Larry Izzard, who became really my closest friend in the world. And he taught me taxidermy, and he was a very good sculptor. And he got me hooked on sculpting, and particularly he got me hooked on sculpting in wax. It's a very difficult medium to work in. I do all of the pieces with a very thin coat of wax over a foam core. And the reason I do that is, frankly, it allows me to easily decide to change my mind. If this were hard clay, it'd be very difficult to make very subtle changes. You can see this wax is sort of perfect for just a few minutes. And then you basically go back into the pot and you grab some more that's sort of still moist. You spread it out and just wait for it to get to just the right temperature. And you do this for days and days and days. But it gives you a texture that is more like a deep surface of a painting rather than a shallow surface. It also allows me to leave areas very rough or very smooth, with the idea that at some point light is going to hit this finished metal, and the rougher areas are going to absorb light and be darker, and the smoother areas are going to throw light back out at you. So as I'm going over the surface of anything, I'm always thinking about how I can use the surface to throw back light. Whenever I hear somebody say that they're self-taught, I feel sorry for them. I am not self-taught. I have had the right person at the right time teaching me the whole range of skills to have a career as a successful artist. And there's not really a self-taught bone in my body. I have been beat up, wrung out, thrown against the wall, smacked up by really skilled people, and they have made me much, much better at this. I had great jobs with the Nature Conservancy. Beginning in 1976, each one sort of introduced me to sort of a different skill set, all of which were very cumulative to actually becoming an artist. I became a much better botanist. I became a much better observer because I was working with lots of people who were, superior observers. I finally left in 1987 to sculpt. So this is my working studio, and basically sort of the whole story of my business is in here. There's, this is where we design the originals. It's where I put together what are called the maquettes of more complicated pieces. You'll see as you look around, there's all kinds of kind of miscellaneous, just tubs of vegetation. And I keep these things around sort of to remind myself of the different negative spaces and forms that the natural world operates in. Just as sort of inspiration for how I want to sort of center what I'm working on in sort of a real universe. You know, how do ideas start? They start sometimes 15 years earlier. You just don't know what to do with them. And then opportunities come up and you go, well, wait a minute, that would be a great solution to this. And I think if I had to say what I'm actually pretty good at, it's exactly that. It's looking at situations and saying, okay, what could we do here that would really enhance this site, that would also meet the client's vision of what they have in mind? And I think every artist operates that way. I'm doing my best work now, I think, partly because I'm not in a rush. You know, I don't have any deadlines. I'm willing to throw stuff out. I don't start something now until I really, really want to do it. I just do stuff now that I've really that's been mulling around in my head for a long time. And I've sorted out I've sort of sorted out the bad ideas. My whole art world and most of the joy that I have in the world comes from a healthy environment. And it doesn't have to be environment writ large. It can mean just a really beautiful stand of trees. It can mean a well-managed pasture. It can mean, any number of things. The history of animals in the West has gone from exploitation to conservation to a large extent. I'm somewhere along that continuum. I still hunt, I still fish. And everything I do is every bit a part of the modern West and the Old West. People have been hunting the same animals since there was a bow and arrow and a shotgun. So the gestures that I can work with, they really haven't changed with time. The art world's about this big. The representational art world is about that big. My part of that is about that big. And if you see any light, it's an optical illusion. But the people who are interested in that part of the art world, hunters, fishermen, outdoors people, are often the same people who are interested in my work. And my art gives me access to them to work and talk with them about different conservation projects. I've had enough people in my life who were other mentors, one of which was a man named Lee Perkins, who started the Orvis Company, who told me flat out early on, he just said, look, your job is to leave the world a better place than you found it. And that made sense to me. I didn't really need any more deeper convincing.